Moving on, as part of the Youth Caucus's initiative to further equip youth, not only in attending but also being a part of UNCCD negotiations and processes, the Youth Caucus has decided to create this webinar series from Riyadh to Mongolia COP17. It'll be, as far as I'm aware, 3 videos, 3 webinars where we will be speaking directly to youth and informing them on specific UNCCD processes and how they can get engaged. It's really great to see how many of you are here with us today and how many of you have been with us for a while already. Some since COP16, some since before, some completely new who will be meeting for the first time in Mongolia. So I'll be handing over the microphone now to JP and Marcos, who are both part of the UNCCD Secretariat. Thank you.
Thank you, Elena. Can you hear me? I am on the move and I'm not sure. Perfect. I see your thumbs up, so you will be my indicator that things are going fine. No, thank you so much to the UNCCD Youth Caucus for organizing this series of events. I think it's very important that now that we are going to have the 17th session of the Conference of the Parties to the UN Convention to Combat Desertification starting, and I'm looking at my calendar because it's very soon. It's in 1 month and 7 days. We will be opening the session in Mongolia. So it's very important, as I said, to have the young people prepared, aware of what is going to be happening from now until the COP, in which way you can make a difference, in which way you can support also the negotiations, and particularly those that they are looking for ambitious decisions related to the engagement of the youth. Also other stakeholders, other actors, like the indigenous peoples, like the local communities, like women organizations and pastoralists. Later on, JP will be doing also a presentation on what are the key elements that we are hoping to have at the COP. But as you may know, there was a Decision 5 COP16 that emanated from the excellent work that young people did, not only during the COP16, but also before. We had, for the first time, the youth engagement strategy that was approved by the parties. There was even a request to organize some type of assessment on how the countries have been implementing this youth engagement strategy, in which way you are provided with the tools to support the restoration of the land, to support the protection of the land, but also in which way you could participate actively, not already at the international conference that is far away for everybody, even including myself, but also at the national level, where you can make this difference. The UNCCD Youth Caucus has been bringing together young people for the last years. They have been organizing regular meetings every month, also to keep organizations and young people involved or unaware of what is happening. For us, this is very important. We understand that there are some challenges, including financial resources or capacity, but these challenges are everywhere. Also, parties, they are facing a similar constraints that you are facing. What we need to do is try to help you to make your voice heard, both at the national level, where you may have the opportunity to work together with the national focal point, but also with the organizations that you are involved with, either in policy advocacy or real action on the ground, but also at the international level. So you will be coming, some of you, to the COP in Mongolia, where you will have several opportunities to make your voice heard. First, together with the rest of the accredited civil society organizations, they are also organizing some thematic conference and events to
Hi, everyone. Just a little bit of patience. Sorry, please continue.
Hello, I'm back. I'm back. Sorry, I don't know, something happened with my connection. At the COP, at least some of you, there will be a youth forum, but also some engagement together with the other, particularly the civil society organizations, and taking advantage also the International Year of Rangelands and Pastoralists. There will be a strong presence of pastoralist peoples at the COP. You will also have the opportunity for a high-level ministerial dialogue in which young people will be meeting with ministers and have the opportunity also to present what you have been doing in the last few years, but also what are your demands for them to take you into consideration. Other colleagues like the G20 and perhaps Lena can also provide more information. They have been also involved in additional programs, including at the national level. If some of you are from Mongolia, perhaps you are also participating in some of these activities, including with the Model United Nations. So all these elements are trying to contribute to show and portray the activities that you have been doing and continue giving due visibility within the UN Convention to Combat Desertification. When we want that there are funds that are available, we need to make sure that these funds are also accessible for young people when there is capacity. Also around, you should be also able to access that capacity. Colleagues, I will be meeting some of you in the next few weeks. There will be other opportunities, not only this webinar that has just started, or this consultation. There will be also with the civil society on the 15th of July, and also in the preparation for the high-level event where we will be discussing. I will leave you with GP. So and your attention. Thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you so much for your interest in this convention to combat desertification and drought. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Marcos, for giving us that introduction. We really appreciate it and wishing you all the best. Looking forward to seeing you soon. I'll now hand it over to JP, who will be doing a presentation and going a bit deeper into some of the technicalities. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat and we'll try to address them to the best of our ability at the end of the call. All right. Thank you, everyone. JP, giving it over to you.
Thank you, Lena, and thank you, Marcos. Hello, everyone. My name is 𝗔𝗱𝘃𝘃𝗵. I deal in non-state actors engagement and logistical support here at the UNCCD. As Marcos said, we really appreciate youth involvement. Let me share my screen for you all. Can you guys see my screen? A thumbs up would suffice. Okay, perfect. So yes, COP17. This year it will be in Mongolia. between the dates of the 17th to the 28th of August. So my role here is just to give you some information about that and see what all can be done. So the topic is restoring land, restoring hope, young people and how they can be a part and get a seat at the table within land, drought, and desertification. One of the key elements that we have at the UNCCD is when we talk about young people and youth, we mean from the ages of 15 to 35. It's a very broad window, but then it also opens up because we also understand that sometimes your voices can only be heard a bit later when you're a bit older. So we want to open that a bit more for you guys. So this presentation will just be broken down into 6 chapters with essentially with one venue, which is what is COP17? Why does it matter? The role of the UNCCD, how you can become involved and get accredited and help with your visas, applications for coming to COP17 or other conferences in the future. The explanation of the blue and the green zones that we have at our COPs and the before COP, the during COP, and the after COP. So young people, students, organizers, founders, journalists who want a credible or a seat at the table, that's how we'll focus. So a gathering of countries with one job. As I said before, COP17 will be within Mongolia, Ulaanbaatar, with the theme of restoring land, restoring hope. The 17th session of the Conference of the Parties, the COP occurs every 2 years, and within that time frame, governments have the time to ratify and meet to review global progress on land, drought, and desertification. They negotiate new decisions and frameworks, and they set mandates that guide countries' national action plans. We have 197 parties plus accredited observers who attend these COPs. So ordinarily, these COPs are very large and very well attended to ensure that land is a focus and that we hear everyone's voices. So within the UNCCD, we are one of 3 parts of the Rio Convention. We are part of that with UNFCCC, with CBD Convention, which is the Convention on Biological Diversity, and then us, UNCCD. So UNFCCC, they negotiate global greenhouse gas targets and adaptation finances. One of the big ones that you may have heard of was the Paris Agreement, which happened at their COP a few years ago. Then we have CBD, so biological diversity. They set global biodiversity targets and protect species and ecosystems. And then we have us, the UNCCD, which we focus on land and drought. And we are also the only one with a legally binding mandate to sustainable land management. So this is essentially what COP17 governs. So the COP intersects 4 areas that touch essentially on it says young person on this presentation, but we also really mean every person. Land is the spine of every other crisis. Here on the presentation, we've divided into 4 sections. The first is climate change. Healthy soils and forests absorb the carbon we cannot avoid emitting. Second is biodiversity. Half of all species live on soil. Degraded land erases habitats faster than we can recover it. The third is food security. 95% of our food grows on soil. Reversing degradation is how the next generation, essentially you or myself or anybody else, can regenerate for the next generation. And then we also have the last stage is just migration and stability. When land fails, communities move. Our COP17 frames land restoration as a security question and not just an environmental one. Here we have just some numbers because at the end of the day, numbers don't lie. 40% of the world's land is degraded. 3.2 billion people, which is essentially 40% of all of humanity, live on degraded land. 1.5 billion hectares of land are trying to be restored or need to be restored by 2030. The land degradation neutrality, so the LDN target, the global benchmark for COP17, will track each party against this. So within the convention, which is the UNCCD, we have four decision-making bodies. We have the Secretariat, which is based in Bonn, Germany, where I'm currently based. We coordinate logistics, allocate side events, the rooms which they'll be placed in, support parties between sessions, and operate the engine, which is COP. The next which we have is the global mechanism. They mobilize finance, channeled resources towards land restoration and connect restoration projects with the funding that they need to scale these projects. The third body is the Science and Policy Interface. We call it SPI. They translate the research. These are the researchers, the brains that the independent scientists, experts who translate the latest research on land, drought, and desertification and policy, and essentially provide us that information so we can go out and speak. And then finally, we have the constituency, which is civil society and observers. These are the accredited voices, accredited organizations, accredited NGOs, academia, private sector, youth delegates such as yourselves. They host side events and submit technical inputs, which in COP is very valuable. The voices, we try to ensure that this constituency, which is, we like to say, is the real people, because you are on the field. We get your inputs with these side events. So side events, NGOs, reports, all of these are very important to us because we can get real feedback from real people as quick as we can. There are 3 doors into COP. So essentially, how you best can attend COP. You can be a party delegate. As said, there are 197 national delegations. To be like this, you have to be appointed by your country's ministry or environment or foreign affairs. You can ask to be nominated. With this role, you get full access to the blue zone. I will explain more about the blue zone and the green zone a bit later. And then you can be involved in negotiations, closed contact group meetings, plenary sessions, and also host side events. This option is the most difficult. So the one that we see most people end up using is number 2, which is becoming an accredited observer through an organization. So an NGO, university, climate society, a civil society under the civil society umbrella, they can all hold UNCCD accreditation status. How this is achieved is the organization nominates you or nominates themselves for the event, for the platform, and we can do that. With this, you also can gain Blue Zone badges. You can attend open plenary discussions, public side events, networking, everything in that realm. This we see as the most realistic one. And then the final is press and media. This pertains mostly to student journalists, podcasters, documentary crews. They can apply via the COP17 media accreditation page with proof of coverage and a letter of assignment. Media is also a massive factor in getting our message across. So if you are a young person who is also dealing in media, maybe press and media forums would be a better suited place. But either way, these are the 3 options that we have, which we think are very important. So as I said, there are 2 zones, the blue zone and the green zone. So there's not a massive distinction between them, but a substantial one. So the blue zone is where official meetings and negotiations occur. This is also where you'll find the plenary, the main committee negotiation meetings, contact groups, which discuss and drafting official texts. The press conference area will be there. And that's also where we have formal side events where accredited organizations can go and have their messages heard. And also we also have just accredited only networking sessions. On the other side is the green zone, which is for the public. It's a public space for exhibitions and networking. Where you'll also find in this is the Green Zone Pavilion. You'll find public panels and cultural events. We can have youth-led side events and workshops here, and also open networking sessions. The blue zone and the green zone are found on the same COP17 campus. They are just divided by entrances. So if you go to the blue zone, or if you can get access to the blue zone, you also get access to the green zone. Sometimes if you have access to the green zone, you may not have access to the blue zone. So COP17 is a as a massive plan. As stated before, our COPs happen every 2 years, as opposed to climate change, who have a COP just every year. So we strive in ensuring that planning is done months in advance, just to ensure that everyone who wants to come can come. So we have a rough timeline of T-minus 6 months before, but we do say earlier, apply and line up your paper trail. Essentially, that is just get accredited through your country's youth delegate channel or via an NGO that holds UNCCD observer status. That just essentially means apply to become accredited via your organization or within an organization who is already accredited. Then, since we like to use NGOs, IGOs for side events, we then say apply for a side event slot. Unfortunately, that side event slot window closed 15th of May, so a few months before COP, but we had so many applications for COP to host side event. That just shows that voices need to be heard. A lot of young people applied, a lot of others, but we had a mass voice of young people, which shows youth and youth voices want to be heard. So parties and accredited observers against organizations can apply to host side events. Applications are normally through the program, but as I said, that window is now currently closed. Then within 2 to 3 months before, you set up you write a position paper, you draft a 1-page on your position, essentially what you want to talk about, what you want to discuss, and then you submit that to your delegation or organization ahead of the plenary. And then within the last month or a bit earlier, I would say, you try to get your visa, try to make sure, if you are a country that needs a visa to go to Ulaanbaatar in this situation, or whatever country a COP will be held in, you ensure that you can get your visa. Most of this information can be found on our official UNCCD website. I will try to post those later on the chat for you. But yes. So essentially, during COP, when you go, you will have it's a great 2-week session for seeing how COP operates, to seeing how observers talk, to seeing how country parties talk, to seeing how side events are organized, and to see that land degradation isn't an isolated event. We come from some countries that land degradation doesn't affect us at all. Then we come from some that's all we see. And COP is a great opportunity to see that it's an open field. It's an open thing, that you are not alone. And we also understand that young people are the ones who are going to be dealing with that. I'm 30. I know that in the future, land degradation will affect me more than the older people or the older generation. So ensuring that a voice in COP is heard by young people is essential, because if we can speak and our voices can be heard, then we can make a change. So when you're at COP, now we're at what happens when you get back to your home, because we believe that's when the real work starts. We have it in three zones, 3 slots. The one is a debrief. So we translate COP official outcomes languages into our own. We essentially do a rundown of what we saw, what we had, what was the outcome. We have it here for campus society, for local NGOs, for youth networks. A barrier the COP didn't clear when negotiation matters as much as it did. So we just want to make sure that we have essentially like a rundown. Then we have the push for national action plans. So each COP decision asks countries to update their national action programs on land degradation and drought. It is our job to make sure that our country's draft reflects what we heard in the rooms, what we heard in the official COP sessions and decisions, and that youth priorities make it into the text. Our priorities are essential to ensuring that, as I said previously, our contributions help in these texts. And finally, we have stay in the network. The UNCCD Capacity Building Marketplace connects youth-led projects and funding, jobs and learning. Keep your profile active between COPs so that the pipeline can be heard. And then when COP 18 rolls around, then we're ready. An important section that we have here is the Land Heroes initiative that the UNCCD hosts. We currently have, I believe, 10 land heroes that are between the ages of 15 and 30. And the UNCCD Youth Recognition Campaign opens this window for projects. We select what we call land heroes as featured to be our voice of the youth. They essentially make their projects visible and they go out and speak on behalf of the youth for the UNCCD. Each of our land heroes has their own organizations, their own issues that they're trying to fight. And what we, the UNCCD, try to do is we try to ensure that they have a solid backing and a foundation which can assist them in their fight. We're having new land heroes, a new land hero call opening, I believe, after COP. So if you believe that you and your organization can benefit from this, then we urge you to apply, because at the end of the day, we need you guys. So this is the end of the presentation, but really land will not negotiate, but we can. So, or you can. So really, we try our best and we strive, and we hope that everything works out and that we'll see you at COP 17. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, JP and Marcos, for the presentation you've given to us. So, as we heard from JP and Marcos, there are a lot of opportunities of engagement for young people in the upcoming COP and beyond. And it will be very nice to hear if we have any questions for both of them to answer. I think we had one question in the chat from Donat, and he was asking what are the steps to funding for COP 17. So JP, do you have any links to fundings for the upcoming COP that we can share with young people who are asking?
So funding is mostly, it's on an application basis. So we have application portals that show funding and availability for that. So we can share that and then proceed with that information.
Right. Thank you very much, JP. So if anybody has a question, you can put up your hand and we would let you ask. I'm checking and there is none yet. I am still waiting. Do we have questions for JP and Marcos? So there's one in the chat asking about topics at COP and what the Youth Caucus brings and any links. So quickly, Avesos, sorry if I butchered your name. So already in the chat, we put in the links to the UNCCD Land Heroes and also to the COP 17. You can check it out, and also I'll just share with you the UNCCD Youth Caucus's website so you can quickly look at it, and you can join the Youth Caucus and actively participate and follow up with what the Youth Caucus is doing to promote youth involvement in DLDD. Application for young people from James. Yes, there was an open selection for young people who would be at the COP by the Youth Caucus. The selection is still ongoing, and you should hear from the selection committee in the coming week. I believe. I think yes, we spoke about it not long ago. So there's the selection committee is working hard to select the young people who would be going to Mongolia. The problem we had is we had a lot of applications. We had over 700 applications from young people across the world. So it's taking some time, but please give us a little bit of the time. I think there's going to be an announcement in the coming week about who was selected to participate or not. Please, if we have any other questions, we can raise our hands or unmute and then ask. So I'll be giving a few minutes for questions. I'll be giving about 2 minutes, and then we can continue the meeting if we have any. All right, so we don't see any hands up, and I think there are no more questions in there. So I would quickly go back to JP to give a few remarks before we bring the meeting to a close. JP?
Okay, hi, it's me again. I was still actually trying to find this information for the funding, but honestly, if you have no other questions, I see 2 hands up actually from Samia Islam. Sorry if I.
Yes, Samia, go ahead.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Am I audible?
Yes.
Thank you. So I'm Samia Islam and I'm from Bangladesh, International Youth Environment Challenge Finalist 2026. So my question is, many young people are invited to climate events, but very few are included in actual decision making. What constraint mechanism should COP17 adapt to ensure youth participation goes beyond symbolic representation?
Great question. I think one of our biggest achievements for youth participation happened at our CRIC last year in Panama, where we had in our plenary, we had a section for the youth to have a voice, to speak, for country parties to hear and see what affects the youth. Our CRIC, which is actually, sorry, I'm sorry, it's the Committee for Review of Implementation of the Convention. It happens every other year opposing COP. So in between every COP, we like to call it a smaller COP. But at these sessions, we now have a platform for the youth to speak in plenary discussions and main committee discussions, where their overall understanding and demands are made, heard, and discussed. So last year we found that to be very fruitful, and it was implemented in the official COP text. So from that point, that's how we try our best. I hope that answered your question. Your mic is still off.
Thank you very much. And I have another questions.
Go
If you
for it.
consider, then I will ask. So my another question is, if you could recommend one specific action that every youth delegate should advocate for before COP17, what would it be and what?
I would think whatever youth should advocate for beyond the lines of land and drought is sustainability. I think sustainability is a very important, and it's in the context of land degradation and drought and trying to fight that, but it's not a word that's actively said. And I think sustainability is what we should strive for. We should strive to ensure that we ourselves remain sustainable, that we try to look in the direction of how can our actions ensure that we are not making anything worse. So if based on whatever organizations you're a part of or want to start to implement, or a voice that you feel from back home, trying to fight that and do that is I think of vital importance.
Thank you very much, John, for answering my questions. I hope to see you in COP 17 in Mongolia. Wish you all the best, all the very best, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. I hope to see you there too. I think we have 𝗔𝗱𝘃𝘃𝗃𝗃. I'm sorry again. Hello, Isaac.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I thank you for this nice section. My ask is I wanted to ask can you share recording section with youth?
Excuse me, can you say that again? I'm sorry.
Okay, I said can you share with you recording section?
I'm sorry, I'm not really fully understanding.
Isaac, are you asking if we are going to share the recording session with everybody? Is that what you want to find out?
Can you share with you?
Okay, I think you're asking, like you said, Francis, if he's going to share it, then yes, we will. This information will be shared.
All right, thank you very much. I see another hand from Donat. Donat, please, can you ask your question?
Yes. Hello everyone. My name is 𝗔𝗱𝘃𝘃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃. I'm from DRC in Africa. So I have always the visa and my accreditation, but I didn't. But I don't have. Yeah, I can say the funding for traveling or for accommodation. So I want just to know what can I do for having it those I can say accreditation, no, the funding for traveling and for my accommodation. If we can just share the line that I can apply for having the traveling and the accommodation. Thank you.
So if my understanding is correct, you're asking about the processes for gaining accommodation for in Mongolia, Ulaanbaatar for COP 17. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. We mostly find, or we tell individuals, the best option would be to simply go on booking.com or any other websites in Mongolia to register for hotel and accommodation. We've been in constant communications with the host country, which is Mongolia, to ensure that space will be made available to all who wish to attend. And if on the chance that that's not available, also Airbnbs will be made public. I hope that was in the scope of your question.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Right. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, John, for providing those answers to the questions. I really appreciate your time.
No problem.
Before we go, there are a few announcements, and if you check the chat, Juliet Grace put in the chat the link for the youth statement at COP17. We invite all of you to go in there and add your thoughts, contribute to the youth statement that will be shared to world leaders at COP17. The deadline to do that is the 18th of July. That would be a week from tomorrow. So please do well to check it out, and the link is in the chat. Please open it up, add your inputs to what we'll be presenting at COP17. Also, there is going to be another webinar. This is the first of 4 webinars that is happening before COP17. The next webinar is also going to happen on the same day, the 18th. That is a week from tomorrow. So that's going to be the 18th of July at 2 p.m. So same time on Saturday next week. So please look out for the announcement on our social media platforms. You can also quickly check the UNCCD Youth Caucus website. All the updates on their webinars are going to be shared there for everyone so that we know what is happening and we are updated, so we join it. There's also an open call for inputs from young people from the CSOs. So please do well to check that one also out via social media handles and put in your inputs for the CSOs for COP17. In the coming weeks, there's going to be lots of announcements, lots of opportunities being shared across all our social media platforms. So would encourage everybody to do well to periodically check them out. Our social media platforms on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter are at UNCCD Youth Caucus. You can give us a follow, turn on notifications so that anytime we put everything up, you can be notified and you can see it first. So we are coming to the end of the call, and for documentation, I would ask that those of us who are able to put on our cameras, put it on for a quick photograph. If you can put on your camera, we would like to see your nice and smiley faces. So put them on for a quick, I see them coming on. Nice, thank you, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Just give it a minute so that everybody can turn on their cameras. Then we do this. Right. So I'll do the countdown. You give us your nicest smile. So I'll do the shot on 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's have another one. Yes, I see more people turning on their cameras, which is interesting. Yes, we have more smiley faces. So I do the countdown again. 1, 2, 3. Right. Thank you very much, everybody, for showing us your nice faces.
Again,
please
picture, share. Again, picture, if you please. I close my web.
Right. Rad is asking for another picture, everybody. So let's do it for Rad. Smile and let's take it. All right. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, if you please, I have a question if you can.
Quickly, Rad, because we are closing.
Oh, okay, quickly. If you please, when you start this conference in the Mongolia, if you can make a new platform online for all participants.
Can you come again? Sorry.
When you start conference in the COP17 in Mongolia, you can build a new platform for online for see this or conference.
If I understand the question, you're asking if we are going to build a new platform
Yeah.
online when we start COP.
When you start COP17 in Mongolia, you can make a new platform online
for, sorry,
for COP.
there is
For meeting.
Yes,
Yeah.
there's a platform for, sorry, there's a platform for COP related issues on the UNCCD Youth Caucus website. Also, there is a dedicated website for that from the UNCCD site, 𝗔𝗱𝘃𝘃𝗵, if I'm right.
Yes.
There is a dedicated website specifically for all COP 17 related news. I'll share the link quickly in the chat so you can visit it and then look at everything you need. So I just put it in the chat. You can look at it, and I hope this helped.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining. And we hope to see all of you in the next webinar, which will be on Saturday, the 18th of July. Thank you all and have a good rest of the day.
Bye.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.